Hello, lovely people, and welcome to another Galactic Mayan astrology report. So, as you can see, my YouTube channel is getting better and better with the help of my beloved man, and it feels really exciting and really wonderful. So, this is a Mayan astrology report for the 20th of November 2019. So we're going into another really big Wavespell, but it's not big in the sense of everything's going to go a bit crazy. It's big in the sense of we get to really see where we're at. So it is the centre of the entire process. This Wavespell, if you've seen what the Zolkin looks like, it looks like a grid. And this Wavespell is in the central column of that grid. So that represents our heart. So we've gone through this journey of white mirror to get into our hearts, and now we really get to see where we're at. And so this Wavespell is the energy of Blue Monkey. So Blue Monkey is the divine child. So the energy of the child is the centre of our being because it's the first part of us. You know, when we became a human, when we were learning all of our stuff, all these straps are going to do my head in throughout this entire video, but I'm just going to go with it. It's going to be okay. But yeah, like when we first became a human, we came in as a baby and then as a child. So that's all about dependency. You know, we went through this period of our lives where we were dependent beings. But also, when we were these dependent beings, we were also in a state of play. You know, and in early childhood, they say that like for the first 7 years of life, we're basically like recording machines. So we're constantly taking imprints from our environment and we're just soaking everything up. And that is then what creates our subconscious mind and our programming. But equally, what comes with that is this beautiful energy of being really present and in the moment. So you watch children just doing whatever they're doing and they're so involved in the moment. And they're so light-hearted in that approach too. They're not sat there like analysing what's going on. They're not trying to figure out the solution to the problem. My partner and I were talking earlier on about like childhood stuff, and he shared with me a little story about like how he has a memory of being a kid and like he was kind of stuck in this loop of like having a glass of orange juice and a glass of water to rinse his paintbrush, and he kept going to put it in the orange juice. So for his brain at that time, for his sense of self at that time, there wasn't the thought, oh, I should move that, until an adult came along and was like, oh, do you want me to move that orange juice for you? So there's just this like super duper beautiful energy of Blue Monkey, you know, because it's the child, you know, and the child is beautiful, you know, that childish energy I think is where the majority of us are trying to get back to when we're doing these things like personal development and, you know, this search and this quest. It's like, it's basically us trying to get back into that space of being free. Because that's the thing, you know, when we were children, you know, regardless of how well our needs were met or not, you know, we had a lot of needs, and, you know, the previous generations of the planet, you know, coming down from the past 100 years were ill-equipped to deal with those needs, you know. So we didn't get all of our needs met, but there was a gentleness, there was an innocence. So within this energy of Blue Monkey, it's all about play. It's all about doing the thing that sets our soul on fire. It's all about seeing how much we allow ourselves to do that. You know, and there's all this talk of like being in the heart and living from the heart and, you know, love knows no bounds and all this stuff. And it's a little bit like, for me anyway, it's a little bit like, oh, okay, I've read that sticker on 10 different windows. I've read that on the blurb of 1,000 books. But what does that actually mean in practice, you know? And for me, it's all about being like a child. It's about taking things out of this super seriousness that we often find ourselves in, you know, when we are doing things like personal development. It's about really like coming into a space where we reconnect with that child within us. And that's another element, you know, of the Blue Monkey, you know, because the thing that prevents us from being in our heart, you know, from being able to trust the flow of life, from being able to tap into our creativity and live a life of freedom where we're supported and looked after, is, as I've said, it's that first 7 years of life when we are little conditioning units. We're just taking everything in and allowing it to program us. The things that happened within that time created the beliefs that mean that we cannot live in that place of heart, that realm of heart where life is easy, where there's a flow, where there's a connection, where we are living in alignment with all that is. Our experiences in early childhood create the pattern that then gets repeated throughout our lives and strengthened, which means that living that way is irresponsible or impossible, or whatever it is that you've got the beliefs about why you cannot live in that place of ease and joy, essentially. So within the energy of Blue Monkey, you might also find that you have to revisit things. There might be things that the little child within you brings to the surface for you. And it's a really good time for personal development, but also it's a really amazing time, as is always the case with this astrology, because it's like this continuous cycle. We get to check in, like last time that we were in this energy, where was I at in my life? This time, where am I at? Am I closer to living the life that reflects who I am? And I know that we are, because if one of us is, then we all are. And I can see it within all of the circles that I'm connected to. People are living closer and closer to their essence, which is so beautiful to see. So within this Wavespell, it's really a time for like celebration and doing the things that bring you joy. And sometimes we've created these lives that are so busy and that force us into all these crazy corners and that have got so much stress and so much pressure and all this different stuff that it's like, well, I don't have time to do that stuff that I love. My guidance for you this Wavespell is to make the space. Do whatever it takes to make that space, but give yourself some space to do what you love. To-do lists, being a parent, going to work, doing all that stuff that you feel that you have to do, and then all that stuff that comes up with like, but I have to pay the bills, and I have to be this, and I have to do that. Like, create a day where you get to do whatever makes you feel good. And 9 times out of 10, the stuff that makes us feel good is the stuff that we've always loved doing, that we've loved doing since we were little kids. So if you're like, well, I don't actually know what makes me feel good, tune back into the child inside you and let them lead the way. It might be something as simple as going on an adventure, going on a walk. It might be doing something creative. Figure out what it is for you and just really give yourself that space to play. And also, it's a really good time to kind of look at your approach to life and really examine the way that you approach life and see if you can get back to that childlike approach to life. And I know that we've all got to be responsible, and as an adult there are different things. You do have to make money, and you do have to make sure that you can eat, and you do have to do all of these different things. But how can we integrate the child approach to that, the light-hearted, trusting approach to all of those things, as opposed to like the stern Victorian warrior or all that shit? It's like, how can we kind of come into a space where it's like, yeah, I need to go to work and it's going to be fun and it's going to be something that I do with joy. What do we need to do? What do we need to shift? What do we need to let go of to get back to that state? So it's a really good time to have a look at the way that you approach life, to venture in, and you can do that by like, any task that you're doing, noticing the dialogue that's going on within you as you're doing that. Are you in a space of expanse when you're doing something? Is it like, oh, this is going to be interesting or whatever? Or are you sat there like worrying about how it's going to work out? Or, it's also a really amazing time to take a risk on something that you love. To take a risk with that person that you might have a little thing for, it's like time for really like opening your heart and putting your heart on your sleeve. And, despite what might happen, despite the yes or the no or the success or the failure of a project or the whatever, this is a really wonderful time to really take that risk into whatever it is that your heart is going like, yay, about. So for me, a really big thing that I'm stepping into now, that I'm launching this Wavespell, is my craft stuff. So I've like created lots of things, lots of different products and stuff that feel so good for me to create. And it's like, because I do have a very analytical mind and I do love words and I do love writing and I do love studying, but it's like so heady that actually making something and creating something with my hands is such a joyful process. So that's like my blue monkey thing. You know, it's really dropping into that space of like, wow, I can actually just give myself permission within my life not to be proving myself all the time through academic study or, you know, whatever. I can just make things. I can do things that bring me joy and that are simple and that are easy. You know, it's like, it's such a profound shift for me because personally, you know, Blue Monkey it's my challenge. So this playful approach to life is my challenge. This giving myself permission to be a creative being that might not be recognised as a clever person or a whatever, you know, or somebody that takes life seriously is my challenge. And I feel like, you know, as I've been kind of going through, because I've known about this for a long time through studying the astrology, so I've been holding that awareness of what my challenge is and then going through the cycle of the 9-month spin consciously now for quite a long time, that I feel that I've got to a space within my life where those little last bits are coming off now, which feels really, really special. So as I say, you know, this is a really amazing time on planet Earth. You know, we've started now a new 13-year cycle. And within Western astrology, which isn't really my forte, I'm sort of learning more about it because I do love to study things. But 2020 is going to be a really, really big year for lots of different reasons. So it's really interesting that it's all aligning. But this time, you know, especially if we are willing to take responsibility for our lives and willing to take the risks on living a life that is our own creation, we're really getting to see the benefits of that now. And the media and the collective will obviously give a very different message to that, but look around us, you know, this is what is happening, and it's totally, you know, it's ease. This thing of ease is like unfolding for us now, and that's really, you know, this wizard energy is really going to beckon in this age of ease. So I just had a really interesting technical error and experience that really highlights all of this. So as you know, I've got all of this new equipment and my partner's helping me. So he leaves the room when I actually do the filming because I'm like, oh, I don't want to be watched, even though I'm broadcasting something to be watched. But yeah, so essentially it cut off the filming, like the camera cut off for whatever reason toward the end of the video. So I'm having to like revisit it. But the interesting thing is, you know, it cut off just as I was talking about like taking the risk to step up, to be who we are, to live in our hearts and to live in that playful way. But the thing that's really interesting is that we have to make space for mistakes within that. And, you know, as I was saying, my shadow is, you know, my challenge is the blue monkey energy. And for so many years, I was completely creatively blocked because I couldn't take that risk to potentially get it wrong. I've struggled to learn new skills within my life because I don't like not being able to do things. So it's more comfortable to just stay in the realm of, I know that I can do this and I can do this quite well, so I'm going to stay there. So within this energy and within this Wavespell, take risks, but also be okay with it not working out. And know that that's part of the medicine and that's part of the journey. You know, as that experience that I've just had happened, you know, it really helped me to see again, you know, what my internal conditioning is around, you know, getting it wrong. I didn't have a playful approach then. I had a tantrum. It wasn't a full-on tantrum. I've had a few of those recently though. Thank you, homeopathy. But it has really, it's highlighted something really cool for me. So, you know, taking these risks and, you know, living in this playful way and, you know, dropping into that space of following our heart means that we really have to give ourselves permission to get it wrong. You know, and if we are doing something new, it's like, so what? We're learning. We're constantly learning. And in order to, you know, learn things and learn new skills, we have to mess up, you know. And I've used this analogy before and I'll use it again and again and again. But when kids are learning to walk, when they fall over, you run to them, you grab them and you cheer them on. You don't tell them off for falling over. And we've really got to cultivate that relationship with our inner child, you know. All of us do, but I'm specifically talking to myself right now. But I hope that you have a wonderful Wavespell. As I say, you know, there's all this creativity has been oozing out of me. So have a look on my Etsy shop, which is Jyoti Offering Jyoti Offering Shop. And you'll kind of get to see what I've been doing, which is really exciting. And also keep an eye on my website because I'm going to be uploading some new things. I'm also going to be uploading quite a few videos this Wavespell, and just really, again, gently, getting a bit bigger, getting a bit bolder, being seen a little bit more, creating more responsibility for myself as well, which is really, really cool. So I hope that you've had a wonderful journey into the heart, and I hope that this Wavespell in the process of the heart is absolutely amazing for you. Go and play and have loads of fun. All right, loads and loads of love.